You are listening to Conversations with Wisdom, a Random Genius Media original.
So, hi, Junelia. Welcome
Hi,
to
Sheldon.
Conversations with Wisdom. And today we're going to talk about, what you're doing with Sacred Healing Movement. We want to learn a little more about you and, of course, glean some wisdom from you. So, hope you're ready. We've got a few questions and we'll get to them.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Sacred Healing Movement was born, it's a product of love, because my journey has been 18 years long in the holistic arts and healing space. And it did start with me having to heal my own body, my own life. So when I was younger, when I was a little girl, I had eczema issues. I was very little. So starting from 4 or 5 years old, doctors would put me on antibiotics back to back. So if one 3-day course didn't work, back to back 5-day course. That course didn't work, 10-day course, and no healing in sight. So it would suppress my condition, and then it would come back, with a bang. So and then I realized that I was getting more sick from the medicine that was meant to heal me. So something was so off there, right? So at around 19 years old, I took my healing into my own hands. So I became very mindful of my food intake. So, what are the foods that nourished my body? What are the foods that gave me more energy, core energy? I started yoga, I started meditation, and don't get me wrong. The first time I sat to meditate, I sat for 30 seconds and I jumped out of my space. I just could not. There was so much noise in my mind and my body. I just could not be with my thoughts, with myself. And so my teacher said, sit for 30 seconds, add 30 seconds to every day. And so it's not been like, ooh, I can sit now and I can, I'm like a yogi and I can meditate. It was an intense journey of deep love for myself and healing. It's like, no, I've got to do this because this is the only way to heal my life and to heal my body. And so it was such an incredible journey, because when we choose to love ourselves and to really come into alignment with who it is that we truly are, and we learn how to listen to our heart, listen to the body, that's when everything starts falling into place. And so I could hear my body would tell me what it needed to eat, my body would tell me what it, and I knew what I needed to do at every moment over time. So it was a deep love for myself that brought me into my practice. And so at the end of the month, when I started my meditation, when my teacher said add 30 seconds to every day, I was sitting for 15 minutes at the end of the month. And at the end of that year, I was sitting for an hour. At the end of my second year, since I started meditation, I was sitting for 2 hours. And it felt like 5 minutes. So I didn't come into the journey just like, natural. None of us do. None of us do. Um, we're all conditioned to think a certain way and to be a certain way based on our parenting, based on our teachers, and whatever we receive. And all they do is teach us what they know best. So, so Sacred Healing Movement was born to guide people into reconnecting to who it is they truly are. Come into your truth, come into your heart, and live from a heart-centered space. When we live from our heart center, the alignment with God consciousness comes into play. And when we are in alignment with our God consciousness, this is what expands the love. And that is our only truth. Our only truth in this life is love. And so how do we love ourselves more? How do we love our people, our communities? How do we spread that into our lives? And so my vision for Sacred Healing Movement is to guide people into this alignment, the alignment of our hearts, living from a heart-centered space, and then go into the community. So light up your heart center with as much love, as much light as possible, and then go into our communities to aid and heal our communities. And that way we can help heal this world. And when we come from a space of love, there is nothing that can push that energy down because it is the highest frequency that exists on our planet, the highest frequency that exists in this galaxy of ours. And so, yeah, and so I'm really excited for this journey, Sheldon.
Wow, I'm like so impressed. We're meeting after many, many, many years, and
Yes.
it's just great to see, I'm maybe a year or two older than you, but um, the maturity is amazing, right? So, I mean, I must compliment you. I don't know what you're eating or, what the diet is. But I was just super impressed with, what I was seeing on Instagram, which is why I reached out to you and said, can we do random reels? Because it's about sort of supporting or expanding information available, in the internet, on the internet, um, on to people who are seeking such solutions, right? I mean, there's so
Absolutely.
much noise, and
Yes.
how do you shut out that noise and get to your center, right? Like you
Mhm.
rightly said, you give up in 30 seconds. I'm
Mm,
probably one of those people. I mean, I
mm,
find my peace walking these days. So
mhm,
I go for long walks. I mean, Priya, my wife, complains that I, will go for a walk and I'll come back 2.5 hours later, right?
mhm,
It's uh it's sometimes strange that I get lost in the neighborhood.
mm.
And it's bizarre, but I find so much joy. I mean, I know that I'm probably too old to live in another country, but
Mhm,
because I need to know where I can get my milk and groceries and all of that stuff, right? I'm like
mhm,
now too old to go to some other place where I have to drive and but if I, for example, get lost 3 kilometers or 4 kilometers down the road, I know that I'll find my way back, right?
mhm.
You know how you've lived in India a long time ago, so you know how stuff works. But what I found amazing is that you persisted with the process and you seem to have found a solution that works for you, right? Um, Obviously, this was before Google existed. I'm presuming you did your own homework. You did
Yes.
it the hard way, and you found at age 19 you decided that you wanted to find your own solution. So where does one start apart from Google, right? Where does firstly, how do you come to a realization that something is not working for you? And then you need someone to help you, and therefore reach out to a coach. uh, how do you come to that realization?
Well, I think we all have an innate sense, an innate wisdom that lives within us. And that wisdom comes alive when we sit in silence. So, in the world we live in, there is so much noise from all our electronics. We're always in our phones, we're always in our electronics. So we are so disconnected from ourselves, right? And so I think the journey begins with just wanting, like, what is your heart desire? Just listening. What is your heart desire? Are you happy where you are? Ev- Do your relationships nourish you? Does your food make you feel alive? Does it give you energy, life force energy? Does your job make you thrive and make you want to wake up every day saying, yes, I love what I do? So, do you love yourself? Do you love your life? If you love your life, you're in the best place possible. If you wake up grumpy, angry, groggy, then something's amiss.
Something's amiss. Yes.
Something's amiss because our life is not meant to be meant to be suffering. It's not meant to be heavy weighted. We are beings of light that have descended on this planet to reconnect to the light. So when we are born with a veil, and that veil does not allow us to remember where we have come from. And so the journey from the time we are born until we transition to the next life is to thin that veil And how do we do that? It's about a remembering. This whole life is a journey of remembering who it is that we truly are. Who we are is, we have our soul, and our soul is a part of source. It's a part of God consciousness. So we are a part of that same energy. So everything that is love is right here. All our answers that belong to God, that come from God consciousness, from the universe, all our answers are right here. So this journey starts with us wanting to choose. So if you just sit down for 5 minutes and you just scan through your life, there are different aspects of life: health, family, self first, then, family, health, job, security aspect of life, financial, all of that. Just put a 1 to 10. Where are you at every, section of your life? And once you create that map for yourself, you'll know where you need to improve, and then it's a choice we make. Do I want to improve my life? Do I want to live my best life, or do I want to stay stuck and miserable? Do I want my health to heal, to stay, down and then keep deteriorating as I get older? Or, do I want to just live my healthiest, most vital life, filled with love, filled with joy? And when we come into that space of alignment with ourselves, then all the synchronicities start aligning. And then everything starts falling into place, and you feel like your life is full of miracles. Every day is full of miracles. You're like, I just thought about red roses, and here they are. Like, my best friend just sent me red roses. Or I really wanted that job, and then I got a call without even, like a recruiter just called without even me having to apply. So synchronicities start aligning
True.
because we come into alignment, because our frequency changes. And
True.
so,
So
yeah.
I'm a big believer in manifesting, right?
Yes.
Manifestation, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
the secret, right? Ask, believe, receive,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I've really seen it sort of work in my own life, right? And I kind of advise friends, colleagues, and to really sort of put it out to the universe what you want, right? I mean, I heard, sometime back, I saw an Insta reel on, Oprah talking to Trevor Noah, saying the most important thing is you need to know what you want. If you don't know what you want, you are not going to get that. Do you subscribe to that, or do you have a different view on that?
If you don't know what you want, you cannot get there. Absolutely. But
Correct.
I would say there's one level above that, which is you have to feel worthy of what it is that you want. You can't have a mindset where you say, I really want that, but on the other hand, your subconscious mind is saying, you're not worthy of it, you don't deserve it. Like, how can I have that job? How can I have that kind of money? How can I have that relationship? That depth of love.
The doubting mind in the background.
I
Yeah.
don't deserve it. So if you don't deserve it, if you don't feel worthy of it, you cannot achieve it. So it's an alignment of thought processes. So wanting is a list that you have to create, everything that your heart desires, and then deserving, how worthy am I? So you start off with that, and once you raise your consciousness, raise your frequency of your body, say, I am worthy. I am worthy of all of it. I'm worthy of the best life, of living my best life. Then your list starts getting checked. It just goes boom, 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 boom. It just starts getting clicked.
Nice.
So
Really nice way to put it. Because,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I think there's so many different points you're making. It's so interesting. But um, I am very guilty of negative. I used to be very guilty of negative self-talk, right? I mean,
yes,
I'm not
we're
deserving.
all guilty of
Deserve
that.
it. I don't think this will happen. And you
Yes,
kind of, a term that again, Priya, my wife uses is self-sabotage, right?
absolutely.
In terms of we being our own worst enemy,
Correct.
that we manifest something, but then we start self-sabotaging, saying that,
Correct.
we don't let it happen because the universe wants to give you many things. And it's not a religious thing. It could be for any religion. It's just a connection, I guess, with a sort of higher power, a supreme power, whatever you want to call it,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so it's very interesting. I mean, would I think you've stirred so many things in my mind. It's really interesting. So tell us, what does a day in Janelia's life look like? What is it? What is it? Take us through a day in your life.
So to start off with, about 15 years ago, or maybe less, maybe, about 14, 15 years ago, I started aligning my sleep cycle with the sun. So that's the first change that created such a huge shift in my life. So I went to bed with the sun and I woke up with the sun, and that's what I do today. So my day starts at about 4:35 in the morning, and I wake up and I sit in my silence and I start, before I get out of bed, I say my prayer. And my prayer is a prayer of gratitude for everything that I feel in my heart, gratitude in my heart, and then I affirm what my day is going to be. So I choose what my day is going to be like. So my day is filled with the deepest love, with alignment, with productivity, with miracles, magic, and with laughter. I choose what I wish to fill up my day with, and then I bless this day, and I get out of my bed. So that's my first ritual. Then I go and make my tea, and then I sit in silence. And in that silence, there's a lot of, you can receive a lot of messages because our body has a lot of wisdom. So it comes through. It comes through only in silence. When we are in our phones and when we are in our electronics, that frequency does not allow our guides and guardians to come in to guide us for our day. So then I get my guidance for the day and I know what to do. I make my to-do list, and then I do my yoga. And then I love having my cacao. It's just my ritual. No caffeine for me. And then because I don't need it, I just feel so awake and so alive, on a daily basis. And then I have my breakfast, and then I get on with my courses. And I generally have, like, at about 6:37 is when I start my first session. So I do like in-person sessions early in the mornings. And then when I get back home, I have my online virtual sessions. Yeah, and then I have corporate sessions. So I do all my work. I get done with my day at about 5. Some days, if I have sessions, evening group sessions in person, then I'm done by about 6:37, and then it's dinner time. So I'm, on a day when I don't have evening sessions, I'm done with dinner at about 5:36, and then I'm in bed by 7:38.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah,
In tune with nature.
in tune with nature.
Awesome. That's very
Yes,
nice.
it's
Uh,
called the circadian rhythm
correct,
for
correct,
India.
correct, correct. So if you were to give us one life hack, right? Would that be it? In tune with nature? What would be your one life hack that's worked for you?
100%. We are nature. We're not separate from it. So we have to come into alignment because that is our nature is our biggest healer. When I'm having a tough day, or when I'm not feeling too like 100%, if the weather is good enough for me to step out, like now it's winter, so I can't be out too much, but I go and sit with my back against a tree on the ground, barefoot. And
Nice.
then I feel the grass on my feet, and I have my back to the tree. I sit for like 30 minutes in silence. I listen to my music and, whatever makes me happy, sparks joy for me. And I come away feeling whole and feeling so healed. And so, yeah, we cannot take nature for granted. It is our biggest healer.
Amazing.
So, yeah. Mm.
I also have been it's called grounding, where
Yes,
I walk to the beach and then I remove my shoes and then I walk barefoot.
yes.
But you go one step further where you sit against a tree. I should try that as well. So
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's a very interesting way of connecting with nature. So
Yes.
amazing.
And then you sit barefoot, so your feet are on the ground. So
Correct.
that's a
With no
deeper
devices. With no
no
devices near
devices,
you.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But
And
music
also
is
like
allowed. But music is allowed, you're saying.
music is allowed. You can have your little, iPod or whatever you need. Music is allowed, absolutely.
Tell us something about your future plans, to build the sacred healing movement. What are some of the plans you have in mind?
I'm actually coming up in 2025. I've just written a book on breath work, and
Okay.
I'm in the process of writing a book on how my journey through the holistic arts and the practices that worked for me and my life, and how I healed my own body, my traumas, all my issues that I had to deal with to come out the other side. And how that journey has brought me, like, from fashion to to a space of holistic healing, which is not something I ever envisioned when I was 20 years old or even 30. So, so I'm coming up with courses for 2025. I have courses. So I have like my approach to healing is it's a very holistic approach. Even like I'm very focused on food, but I do not bring food into, my work. My work is more like spiritual practices that bring us into alignment. So I practice something called the conscious connected breath. The
Mm-hmm.
conscious connected breath is for trauma release. It is for releasing any stuck energies, blockages, past traumas, emotional uh, uh, pain, and blocks. It releases it out from the body. And our breath has divine intelligence. So when we surrender to our breath and when we breathe fully and completely, we bring in, the breath knows exactly where to go into the body, and what you are ready as a person, what your body is ready to release and integrate into the light. And so it's a really beautiful practice of like circular, conscious, and connected breathing. It's an open mouth breath, and it's called breath work because it is work. But I realized that, so it's about a 40-minute is like a minimum amount of time that we breathe, 40 to about 50, 55 minutes. But once you start the journey, it takes about 10 minutes to come into a rhythm with your breath because it's an open mouth breath. Once you come into a rhythm, then the minute you come out the other side and you're done, even if it's a 55-minute session, you'll feel like you just spent 5 minutes breathing. So that's everybody's experience. So, it sounds so much, right? 45, 55 minutes, everyone's experience is the same. It's like, what? I was breathing for 55 minutes. So that's the beauty of it. But the breath is so powerful because for starters, it detoxes the body. 70% of toxins get released from the body from just a 40-minute breath practice. And then uh, it gives you mental and mental clarity, focus. It does relieve you of traumas. So it starts to alleviate, because all of our traumas are just a memory. Yes, the body has experienced it, so we will acknowledge that. We have experienced, some kind of hardships, so there is a weight on our hearts, and that weight, translates into the body if we don't process our emotions quickly enough. So basically, any emotion that we experience has to be processed within 2 to 3 days. If we don't process it and release it, then it starts going into the body. Then it starts affecting our organs. And then the body starts to break down. So, because it's all an energy. When you feel sad, what do you feel? It hurts you right here. Why does it hurt you? It's an energy. It's an energetic release, and it goes into the body. So the whole journey of this breath practice is we acknowledge what we are feeling. Acknowledge, yes, this is how I'm feeling in this now moment. It's not to brush things under the carpet. I wanted to bring attention and focus to the benefits of conscious connected breath work. So the reason why it's called breath work, because it is work, it's conscious and connected, but it's breathing through the mouth. So
Sure.
one of the most beautiful parts of this process is that we are alleviating all the things that do not serve us, for us to come into alignment with who it is we truly are and live our best lives. So we are just eliminating, we're releasing, surrendering, and we're surrendering it to you surrender it to your God, whatever that may mean for you. Surrender it to the universe, to light, to source. And so we are essentially letting go of everything that holds us back from living our best life. So whether it is all our traumas are a memory, it is the past, it is not our present. Our present is a choice. So with every breath, we have a choice. We have a choice to start new. We have a choice to start a new life, new decisions, fresh starts. So every in-breath is that opportunity to bring in new. What is it that you wish to bring into your life now, today, this moment? Because when we breathe that in, it comes to life. It is really that simple. As hard as it is to believe, it is that simple. So in order to bring in the new and to bring in a fresh start, like I look at it as a funnel. We are essentially a funnel of energy. So if your funnel is filled with all your past grievances, traumas, emotional distresses, stresses, current stresses, there is no space for any goodness to come in, for anything new to come in, because your cup is full and it is probably overflowing for most of us. So we have to empty that cup out first, create that spaciousness in order to bring in the goodness and to bring in the new. And so this process of breathing, this breath practice brings that in for us. It allows us to let go and surrender. And we keep surrendering and we keep breathing in what is needed. And we keep surrendering and breathing. And a lot of our weightedness and our stuck energies are actually in our subconscious mind. So we're not always conscious of what is holding us back. We're not, because sometimes our traumas can be from the time we are in the womb. It can be in our early stages of childhood, which we may or may not remember. And any trauma situation or any like really intense emotional distress, our minds are built to shut down because we are survivors. So we are, in order to survive and to perform and to be present to life, the mind does not allow you to remember. So if you have like a traumatic accident, for example, most patients don't remember the accident because it's the mind's natural way of protecting us. And so in that light, when we breathe out and we are surrendering to the breath, so when we surrender to the breath, everything gets released. Our conscious thoughts and our subconscious thoughts as well. So anything that's holding us back. And so when we come out of a session, the first thing is you feel spaciousness. You feel a sense of overwhelming peace that floods the body. You just feel light. You feel light as a feather. That's the first thing that everybody talks about. And you'll see everyone's faces like, there's a glow, there's a light that's beaming because you're ridding yourself of so much of heavy weighted energy from the body.
So I just have one question. Where's the subscribe button for the sacred healing movement, breath work? Because
Yes,
whatever you're talking about kind of resonates so much with me in terms of, past episodes or past, you know, stuff that's happened in my life,
yes,
going back to my childhood that I'm not able to, eject out of my system.
process. Right,
And, meditation, yoga, I've tried kind of everything, even hypnosis.
right.
Uh, but like I told you, we were speaking earlier, and I told you that, walking sort of just calms me down,
Yes,
helps me meditate. Music, of course, right? But but I'm very intrigued and definitely want to join one of those sessions. It's been
absolutely. I actually do quite a few free online breathwork sessions for people just to be able to experience what it is. Because
right.
when I first started my journey, I was so skeptical, right? I didn't know what was what. And so, there are so many people doing so many different healing modalities. You don't know what direction to take. And so, my channels are open. I do have on my Instagram account, I have a link to our online breathwork sessions that are free. And I do it for um, North America and Europe. because the timings are like it's in the evening for India, and late evening for India, around 9 o'clock India time, and 4:30 p.m. UK, and then it's 11:30 a.m. for New York. So yeah, you're welcome to join us, Sheldon, anytime.
Uh,
So the first thing that I'm going to advise you to do, and it's not
yes.
something that I give out
Grow some
easily,
hair.
look at yourself in the mirror
Okay.
and tell yourself how much you love yourself.
Okay. All right.
Because we are absolutely beautiful just the way we are. And you know why that is? Because we are God's creation. So how can you be anything but perfect? You were made in perfect alignment to God's creation for you, what
Okay.
God's plan was for you.
Now you're going to make me cry, all right? And I don't like to cry
Yes.
on camera.
And the
I do
first
cry a
time,
lot. I do cry a lot, and I'm pretty open about it. I mean,
I love to hear that. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I just wrote my 2024 app, and I mentioned that I cry at WhatsApp messages. I mean that I look through, but I get what you're talking about in terms of the kind of self-affirmation stuff, and especially now, being a parent. I have a 15-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter. I find that even more important because it's not about me anymore, right? It's about them and what they're looking at. And if they don't have sort of positive role models, then
Yeah.
it's so so maybe this could, is another question for you is, at what point in time do you stop trying to heal yourself and just say, let the past be the past? Can you do that? And say, I'm
So,
really going to focus on my family, and because that's what the, most people advise you to do.
right.
Your stuff is done now, live for the family. But is that valid advice?
So I don't think that we are such dynamic beings, right? And we are sentient beings. So sentire in Italian is to feel. So our whole journey, if you look at our lives, it's just an amalgamation of emotions. Some days we're super excited, happy. Some days we're really down and out and sad. And some days it's just even keel. But if you think about it, if you pull yourself out of your life, what is my life about? It's just a bunch of emotions. Some really high, some really low, and some like balanced out, even keel days, right? So it would be fair to say that at no given point in time is our life ever balanced. Some days we will feel weighted and heavy. Some days we will feel like we are light and healed and feel whole and complete. And so, for those moments where we feel aligned and balanced, we celebrate those. But at no point can we ever say that, oh, I'm completely healed and I'm ready to take on the world and help my family and now serve my family. I think it's a journey. This whole every day of our lives is a journey, and it's about, yes, how do we maintain that balance as best as possible? Um, and we have to do that with absolute and the deepest love and compassion for ourselves, because we cannot be hard on ourselves for days when we didn't have the capacity to be there for our families, because we didn't have the energy to be there for ourselves. We
Correct.
didn't have the energy to feel whole ourselves, right? So it's an absolute balance of all of it. But I will say that with dedicated practice, you do come into a space where you do feel lighter more than you feel weighted. And so the journey to being there for the people you love will come much easier as you sit and practice. So I don't think there's a definite, this is the time now. It's
Got
not
it.
about
Yeah,
anymore.
you can't put a full stop to it.
No,
It's
because you will always go through something, right? Like
exactly.
tomorrow, I may have a really tough day at work, or maybe a loved one has an illness and it's really hard waiting, it's like weighing on my heart. It's my journey as well, so I will feel, and then it's hard to it makes balancing life and being present to my clients so hard, but I have to be present, and this is the only face that they will ever see, no matter what is going on in my own life,
So how
personal
do you
lives.
do that? What's
My my
how do you
breath.
compose yourself? Breath. Breath.
Breath helps me deeply.
Okay.
Yeah. I practice yogic breath work as well, which I teach as well. But it's all breath practice. And it's so powerful. Conscious connected breath is a deeper healing. Yogic breath practices, you can do them for like a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. You're sitting in the car at a traffic light, you're at your desk at office, you're in the shower. You can practice like breath work at any time. And there is a breath for anything and everything that we may desire in our lives. You want more energy, there's a yogic breath practice for that. You want to calm your nerves down, you're feeling anxious and stressed out, there's a breath to calm you down. A breath to calm the nervous system, a breath to bring forth energy, a breath to cool down the mind. There's a breath practice for everything, a breath practice that will allow you to sleep like a baby. So there's so much, but it is my breath. I lean into my breath for anything and everything that I need. And the reason for that, Sheldon, is because when we take a breath, we're not just breathing air, we are breathing life force energy. So it is a part of like your God consciousness. So you're downloading anything that you desire, you're bringing that into your being, you're flooding your body with that prana, with that energy. So, yes, my breath. And it's free, it's a free resource for all of us. So, why wouldn't we, right?
Correct, correct. Um, would you want to tell us about who's your guru, or whom do you draw energy from?
Mm.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Do we know? Is it someone that we know? Tell us a little more
Well,
about him or her. Or
I have several teachers.
okay,
I've had several teachers. I've been very blessed to have like spiritual guides and teachers along the way. And as I evolve, my teachers change as well. Um, so if there's anything that my teachers have ever taught me, it is how do you turn inward and rely on your innate inner wisdom? And that wisdom for me is being in union with God. So I wouldn't call myself religious. I was brought up Roman Catholic, very staunch family that I come from, but my view of life is a more holistic spiritual journey. I will say this though, and very, very proudly, Jesus is my best friend because Jesus's teachings is all about love. And so I bring those teachings and I bring that love into every aspect of my life and most especially my work. So I work very closely with Christ consciousness.
okay,
And yeah, so I do have teachers, and as I evolve, I know my teachers will keep changing. And my yoga teacher, however, I've had for almost 15 years, and I know she will be with me forever. So she's in India, but I still do my online sessions with her,
wow,
every other day. It's been like that for 15 years now.
wow,
So
that's
yeah,
amazing.
she's also like a spiritual guide for
Okay,
me because we're very aligned and attuned. We have a telepathic connection. So
that's nice.
yeah.
It's really nice. So one of the other points that obviously Random Reels is about encouraging entrepreneurship, right? Is about sort of shining a light on interesting things that people are doing, right? Um, and to give flight to their talents and abilities, right? So, what would be your advice as a seasoned entrepreneur to someone who's starting out in the journey, trying to find their feet, trying to wade through that to the deeper end of the pool? Uh,
Right.
what what's the checklist, the top three things that one should, or top five things that one should keep in mind?
Right. I think the first thing that would be priority is make a responsible decision, which means that if you're going to quit a job to start anew, make sure that you're well taken care of. Our basic needs have to be met. That's the first aspect, just to be conscious about that, be practical. It's not about just following your heart. Although I speak of that a lot, there's a practical aspect to
Correct.
taking this journey on, you know.
Correct.
So make sure you're well situated, you know, and all your needs are met, and you can sustain yourself for at least 6 months to a year before you start out. Because it takes a while to build a new career, build a new, you know, space for yourself in the market and all of that. So definitely being mindful of that. And then the second thing is absolutely when you're following your heart, which is an aspect of choosing different, to quit a job and to start anew, is a very large process of there is a calling, there's a calling, and it's different because you're not happy with your job. So you and so what is it that you desire, right? So you are following your heart. The process of following your heart, it is belief in yourself. So you can't start out saying, you know, I hate my job. I want to start this new thing, but you have no belief in yourself. You don't think that you are able to do it. Then it won't work, because when we bring in that sense of worthiness and belief, like, yes, I've got this, and so it's about aligning with your guides, aligning with your higher self, allowing for that wisdom to flow through so that you are divinely guided into any aspect of your new venture. You know, that's how I worked through it. And so, like in Jan this year, I quit my job in fashion and production. I was in fashion for 20 years, and I quit to start this anew.
And
Um,
is there some amount of testing the waters, getting a sense of like a proof of concept, that there is a market? Obviously, like you said, you've got to test
yes,
that the market exists, that there is a need, right? That
yes,
there's a problem that you're solving, and it's not a
yes.
fictional problem that you're solving.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I have been testing the waters for 18 years. I've been training people, like, you know, just guiding people into meditation. So I did push myself, not knowing that this would be my mainstay, but I did, you know, like before work, after work, on the weekends. So I would make that sacrifice because it gave me satisfaction. So everything that I was learning, I was so wanting to share that experience. Like, oh my God, I feel this much peace. I feel so much love, acceptance of self. I wanted to share that experience with people. So I would do everything, like, you know, uh, just free will work. I did a lot of that, and so I got that practice, and I got a feel of the of what people were looking for the over the last 18 years. And so in the last 2 years before I took this call, I was doing full fledged sessions after work with one-on-one clients before work. So I would start my day at 6 a.m. and then I would end my day after work. I would do like group sessions for breath work, meditation, and I would end my days at 10 o'clock. So I did make those little, I wouldn't call them sacrifices because it filled me up. It filled my
Correct.
heart. But I
Correct.
did have that opportunity. I allowed myself that opportunity to dive into that market to see what was available, what was being asked for, what was needed. And so that definitely gave me the confidence to break free from my job to start this
Awesome.
journey. Yeah.
So, we kind of can now wind up. Before we go, we want to know where we can find you. And also, I wanted to know a bit more about the corporate stuff that you do, right? You work with corporates as well, apart from individuals, uh,
Yes.
in terms of your courses, executing your courses. So one is, where can we find you? Instagram for sure. That's how
Yes.
I found you. And where else can we find you? And what other services does Sacred Healing Movement provide?
Yes. So, on Instagram, I have two links. One is to avail of my free online breathwork sessions, and once you register, you will get a link, you know, whenever I'm doing my free sessions. And then my courses will be up in 2025 in early Jan. Um, and My practice is all encompassing. I do mindset transformation. So it's about how we talked about self-sabotage, and how do you come out of that and change your language, your narrative of your life, and you get out of your stories, get out of your mind, and to come into alignment with what it is that you wish to bring into your life. So it's all about the self-talk. So that's when I do mindset transformation to bring that into place for people. I am a trained coach, so there is a part of counseling involved in my one-on-one sessions. For my retreats, I do very deep dives into soul work. So it's very deep, it's inner journey work, it's deeper healing in my retreats. And I also bring in my one-on-one retreats, I bring in other facilitators like yin yoga, everything that aligns with my work, to bring in more rest and peace and restoration to the mind, body, and soul. Sound healing facilitators. So I bring that in. So it's a whole holistic experience. And my corporate work is I bring in like meditation tools for beginners in the corporate world to allow a balance of stress and how to navigate through stress and anxiety that increases productivity. So it's a win-win for both the employee and the employer, and how to bring in work-life balance, because I think all of us struggle with that, including me sometimes. So yes, the corporate world is, I think that work it's taken by storm. It's so much in demand, and I love being a part of that world because that's the world that needs it, because it's all mind. So when we're all mind, how do you journey from your head to your heart? And that journey is the longest 12-inch journey any man, any human being could ever take in this lifetime. And I feel so blessed to be a guide to that journey for everybody that comes in contact with me.
Very well put. Thank you so much for your time, Junelia. Pleasure speaking with you, and wish you all the love and luck in the
Thank you,
world.
Sean.
And
Thank you.
yeah, spread the love, spread the light, and
Spread the love, spread the light. You said it. You said it, boy. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
thank
I
you so
appreciate
much.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Take care.
You are listening to Conversations with Wisdom, a Random Genius Media original.